Hey guys, Jake here, and today we are here with our CPC Week 1 match against Togevoir and the Portland Timburrs. Now, in case you don't know, Togevoir is a very good player, and he's rated like top 10 in the community of Draft League players, and I got to face him Week 1, so that's fun. This matchup was really difficult for me to build for because he has a Mega Charizard X, and Mega Charizard X kinda destroys my team after a Dragon Dance or a Swords Dance, so I had to prep accordingly in that regard. He's also got other threats such as the Starmie. The Cresselia is really hard for me to break if I don't preserve my Hoopa. Xurkitree is always scary with the right set. I faced a Tail Glow Breakneck Blitz, which was Z Hyper Beam, and it one-shot my Venusaur. So I gotta be look on the lookout for Z moves when I face that thing, because that is a Z-Mon. Cobalion, I really wasn't expecting, because I do have pretty solid checks to it, like my Jellicent and the Zapdos, which I didn't bring. But as you're gonna see, the Cobalion is gonna put in work. I did kinda under-prepare for it. And the Nidoqueen, I honestly, I have switch-ins to it, but Nidoqueen can always put in work when it's played correctly. And I'll start going over my team. The first one I put on the team was an Assault Vest Hoopa. Assault Vest Hoopa is pretty solid this game. It can switch into Starmie pretty easily and switch into Nidoqueen. It can even take a +3 T-Bolt from Xurkitree. I do have a lot of special defense investment on this thing. I'm mixed with Psychic, Hyper Voice, or not Hyper Voice, Hyperspace Fury. Psychic, Hyperspace Fury, Focus Blast, and Gunk Shot to Tangrowth, which he did not bring. And this is so crazy how bulky this thing is. I was in a mock, and someone had a Signal Beam Cresselia, and this Hoopa only took like 33% from that 4 times super effective attack. It's insane. Then the next one I have is a Scarf Garchomp. This is my rocker for this week. I couldn't really fit rocks on Aerodactyl, and so I felt like Scarf Garchomp with rocks was my best way to get rocks up, because I do kind of need the moves on Aerodactyl. At first I was Habanberry to take a +1 Dragon Claw from Zard, but I changed it to Scarf because I can outspeed, but that's actually gonna hurt me during the game. I also do not have a Dragon move on this thing. I do not have Dragon Claw or Outrage, and that is definitely gonna come into play in this game. The next one I have is a physically defensive Venusaur. This thing can take Flare Blitz as Zard. It doesn't love them, but it can, and I have to, and it can get a toxic off on it if I need to. It also can switch into Cobalion pretty well. It doesn't really need special defense investment in order to take on Xurkitree, and it's overall a pretty solid glue to my team this match. I also have a physically defensive Jellicent, also with Toxic, because I really want to get that Zard Toxic with one of my bulky things here, and wear it down to the point where it can't just roost on my Wallows continuously and just attack my frailer mons. And I've got Scald, Toxic, Recover, and Shadow Ball for stuff like Starmie. The next one I have is a Flyinium Z Aerodactyl with Z Sky Attack, and I've also got Stone Edge, Earthquake, and Defog. Defog was in case he tried to hazard stack me with his X-Silgar, which he did not bring. And then the next one I have is a Choice Banded Cincino. I brought this because his only normal resist was Cobalion, and if he didn't bring that, I could pretty much spam Banded Tail Slap pretty freely. But it's fine that he did bring it, because I can U-turn on its switch-in, and I can also go for a Banded Wake Up Slap on it if I need to, which is a 2-hit KO. But as you're gonna see, Battle Area messed up my EVs on this Cinccino. It made it so I did not have any attack investment. which means it's going to be pretty weak this game, and I didn't find out until about halfway through this game. So I'm gonna lead off with my Garchomp, because I want to get rocks up as soon as possible. I know he has a Starmie which can spin, but still forcing spins are nice. And he leads off with his Nidoqueen. Now I could kill this if it's offensive in one hit with an Earthquake, but Sugar Berry is a very likely possibility. And he also could be something like a Scarf Nidoqueen. I don't think that's very likely, but it could be a thing to catch my Garchomp off guard. And he also could just be bulky. In that case, I won't kill it. So I just decided to make the safe switch into my Assault Vest Hoopa as he sets up his rocks. Now that's fine, rocks are kind of annoying, but I can definitely deal with them. Aerodactyl is my only one weak to them, and I don't really need that thing healthy in order for it to do its job. Now that I've got Hoopa unbounded, I'm just going to fire off a safe Psychic. I didn't want him staying throwing an Earthquake, and he goes into Cresselia. Now on this turn, I click my move too fast. It was pretty obvious that he was going to pivot out into his Cobalion, get the justified attack boost, and then threaten me out with something like a close combat. But I just click Hyperspace Fury too fast. This was a huge misplay on my end, and he goes into the Cobalion. It takes very little damage. Now here, I figured my best switch into this Jellicent, because I resist its dual stabs. And he can Volt Switch on me if he wants, but that's fine. I take pretty pitiful damage from it, really. And so I just decided to go into my Jellicent, and I want to preserve my Hoopa, and he reveals the Calm Mind Cobalion. Now this is really scary. I did not prep for a Calm Mind Cobalion. It was a mistake on my end. So what I want to do here is just get damage on this to the point where it can be revenged by either my Garchomp or my Aerodactyl. He did show leftovers, so he's not Sugar Berry, so that's valuable information. I just go for a Scald here, fishing for a burn, as he goes for another Calm Mind, and I get the burn first try, which is pretty lucky. I'm just gonna spam attacks here because there's not much he can. If he goes for the Volt Switch, that's fine. He loses all of his boosts, and Jellicent isn't that necessary in this game. Now that this Cobalion is showing that it beats me 1-1, and here I get a crit. Now this crit is pretty big because it meant that something like my Cinccino can revenge it with U-turn. And it doesn't have to click like Tail Slap or Wake Up Slap. Because like otherwise without that crit, my Garchomp would have been forced in, and he would have had a pretty safe switching into his Cresselia, and I would have been locked into Earthquake, which would have been problematic because I am a Scarf Garchomp. But I get a crit, and now that damage is really nice. Here I'm just gonna sack my Jellicent just to get as much damage. I just want to put it in range of U-turn for my Cinccino. And I do that by getting it down to 3%. The burn is also helping out here. And I just sack my Jellicent. And here is where I realize my Cinccino does not have attack EVs. It was meant to be max attack band. It could really hit things hard, but it put it like a bit into HP. It's all messed up. But U-turn still has a pretty good chance of killing this Cobalion, so I'm just going to go for that as he lets it go down, and Cinccino gets our first kill of the season. Now I just go into Garchomp here because I feel like it can match up pretty nicely against everything. If he goes to Cresselia, I can just go for his Scarf Toxic and then switch out. But he actually goes into his Starmie. Now I figured my Hoopa is a pretty safe switch in here. I take very little from an Ice Beam, and I threaten it out with a Hyperspace Fury. And I feel like he's pretty much forced to Ice Beam here, because if he goes for a Hydro Pump, he doesn't kill me, and I can kill him with something like a Life Orb Earthquake. So I just pull the switch into my Hoopa, and he goes for the Ice Beam, and I take that pretty well, and he shows that he's not Life Orb. And now I'm just gonna, he doesn't really have switch-ins to a Hyperspace Fury, so I'm just gonna go for that. And it goes into his Nidoqueen, and that plus Psychic is going to be able to knock his Nidoqueen out, which is Pretty nice. Now, here he goes into his Zard, and let me talk about this play for a bit. My thought process here was, I can't let this Charizard set up completely for free, because if he is a bulky Charizard, which is very possible because I do have stuff like a Venusaur and a Jellicent, then my Garchomp does not one-shot it with Earthquake, and which means I'm in very big danger to just getting swept up by this Charizard. But what I also should have realized at this point in time is that without this Hoopa, I can't really break Cresselia. So I should have switched out and saved this thing, but I feel like my thought process does make a little bit of sense, but regardless, I still should have saved this and maybe gone hard Garchomp because I can live a Dragon Claw, I think. But instead, he just goes straight for the I outspeed, go for the Psychic, which proves that he was a bulky Charizard. He did say he was a bulky Charizard, set like subs on Venusaur, which is pretty nice. And he just knocks me out with the Flare Blitz, but that's okay. Now I can go into my Cinccino, and even without the attack investment, I kill this thing with a Banded Tail Slap. And he goes into Circuitry here. Now, here is where the loss of attack investment really hurts me. Because as you can see, I would have been able to one-shot this Circuitry with my Cinccino, which meant he would have had a Starmie and a Cresselia left. And this Cinccino does pretty good damage to the Cresselia, and it speed ties with Starmie, but I'm not sure if he was max speed timid. I'll have to ask him. But because I don't have the attack, if he's my Cinccino is going to get 2-hit KO'd. I don't know what hidden power this is. It could be hidden power ice or hidden power flying slash psychic to hit my Venusaur. But I don't want to. I go into Venusaur because I can take any one hit from it. He did show that he is Scarf. I can take HP flying and kill with a Giga Drain. I could have gone into my Scarf Garchomp, but I didn't want Cresselia. I would have had to go for EQ, and I didn't want Cresselia setting up a free sub. And here's where, like I said, here's where the not having a Dragon move came into play. I could have gone into Garchomp, gone for like something like a Dragon Claw, knocked out the Circuitry, and still had a full health Venusaur, but I'm going to be forced to take a hidden power flying with my Venusaur, leaving it at very low health, but I do take out the Circuitry with a Giga Drain. Now here he's going to go out to a Starmie to revenge me. I'm just going to sack this, and now it's time to go into Aerodactyl. Now, Cresselia can switch into a Z Sky Attack. It takes, I don't remember how much it takes, but it can definitely live one, then live a Stone Edge on the next turn, and then proceed to Moonlight up and stall me out. I don't have Home Claws or anything like that. That would have been good in retrospect. But Z Sky Attack does knock out the Starmie, and so I'm just going to go for that. I don't want to risk my Aerodactyl falling. And as I knock into, and I get a crit that, okay, so he was a max HP Starmie. So that meant it was a roll in my favor to kill, but like if he was usually like an offensive Starmie just drops that, but he was max HP, it was a roll in my favor to kill. I did get it. But as you can see, you probably think I just lose to Cresselia now. In that it's true. Unfortunately, because I sacked Hoopa against this Charizard, I'm not going to be able to kill this Cresselia. It was a huge misplan, and I just choked the whole game. I'm just going to go for Stone Edge. I miss. Oh, that's great. He's just going to set up a Calm Mind, and because I don't have a Dragon move on Garchomp, I'm not going to be able to kill it. Stone Edge does a decent amount, but it doesn't matter. I'm just going to spam Stone Edge, and he goes for Shadow Ball, but Stone Edge does have a high critical hit ratio, and he didn't Moonlight right there. So if I get a crit here, I could win the game. So I go for Stone Edge. I don't get the crit. So now this Cresselia can just stall me out. It's pretty much over. I did not prepare as I should have for Cresselia, and I also did not play my Hoopa correctly. But wait, he goes for Shadow Ball, and I live. which means if I hit this next Stone Edge, we're going to be able to knock out this Cresselia and defeat Togevoir and the Portland Timburrs. But I need to hit it. I do not have a Dragon move on Garchomp. All I can hit this thing with is Fire Blast, and that is going to do absolutely nothing. we gotta go for the Stone Edge. And we hit, and we are able to defeat Togevoir and the Portland Timburrs in an extremely close 2-0 victory. That was a crazy game. Yeah, he didn't have Moonlight on Cresselia, which ultimately led to his demise, and it saved me. I would have been really mad at myself if I did lose this game, because I did misplay my Hoopa, and I did put a bad moveset on my Garchomp. I should have had Dragon Claw or Outrage, but oh well, that's hindsight. I did want Fire Blast because he had a Tangrowth on his team, and I can do it KO if he's not Assault Vest. But that's just my justification for the Fire Blast Garchomp. I still probably should have had Dragon Claw over Toxic. But yeah, we were able to pick up the 2-0 victory, and we start off the CPC season 4 2-0. I just want to go back to right here. Wait, the crit right here. So this people think that this crit won me the game, because he did reveal after that he was a Magnet Rise Cavalion. Obviously the thought process behind that was to go for a Magnet Rise on my Garchomp as I EQ'd, but I was a Scarf Garchomp, so I'd outspeed and take this out with an Earthquake. I'm not sure what it all comes down to what his play would have been. He might have gone hard into Cresselia, because like this thing would have been I don't know, around 30%. And he might have gone hard Cresselia predicting the Scarf, or he might have just sacked this off and gone for the Flash Cannon to try and get damage off of me. I'm really not sure. But it did suck that the crit happened, but still, GG to Togevoir. I wish you good luck in the rest of the season. It was really fun playing you, and I hope we can meet in playoffs, because we aren't in the same conference. We would have to meet in finals, but it was still a lot of fun playing you. And with that, thank you all for watching. Goodbye.